Let's learn about the basics of blockchain and different innovations related to blockchain made in the industry. I will be discussing these topics as follows. The first, what is blockchain? Second one is, what is Bitcoin? Third one is, what is smart contract? The fourth one is, what is consensus layer? And the fifth one is, what is blockchain scaling? So let's talk about them. What is blockchain? As simple as you can get, blockchain is simple distributed database that is stored in blocks. Think of it as an huge database that is distributed, decentralized, immutable, censorship resistant. All these characteristics that centralized database won't be having. Don't run scary with these definitions. Simply think of it as a database and nothing else, just really to learn in the beginning. So, the very first application in the blockchain was Bitcoin. It was really first of its kind. No one created something like this before because it solves the basic double spend problem without using any centralized server and database. Also, Bitcoin is the first digital currency experiment. If you want to think in that way, that is also fine, which is in return used by millions and millions of people for payment. Think of it as an electronic cash or electronic peer-to-peer payment system. Another innovation that you should know about is that blockchain is the technology behind the Bitcoin. When you think about blockchain and Bitcoin, they are not really the same. Bitcoin is the application that you build using the blockchain technology. So it's an underlying technology that operates Bitcoin. Blockchain, it's not just currency layer, but also this use case can be, this technology can be used for different kind of operations that you can see in a diagram. That in a traditional database, you have these clients of yours that are interacting with the same centralized database. In the diagram, here whoever controls the database, they can pretty much change the database, right? Whatever they like. For example, if that centralized database admins decides the data to be changed, it can be changed without any permission, right? So if a company wants to change the data in the history, they can totally do it without any permission, compared to something like blockchain. This is the database that lives in multiple places, the blockchain database, I mean to say, and the blockchain clients, users in this case can interact with any of the database. That would be valid because there is a huge network, peer-to-peer network called Bitcoin network, Ethereum network, and many other blockchain networks, where the miners, stackers, and the blockchain creators, I mean the block creators, depending on the conscious layers, they are working overtime to make sure that database integrity is preserved, which is entirely immutable compared to traditional database. Here means if someone tries to change their data locally in the node on the blockchain, other nodes will know about it and consider it as an invalid node, and the data, this is the way that there is no organizations or party controlling the single data. That means it's totally decentralized. Another innovation is smart contracts. Smart contracts are possible on the second generation blockchain, and we are really a big fan of smart contracts because it doesn't need to be dependent on centralized network. Specifically, we are going to talk about the Ethereum in this case, which was first of its kind, as is the first of its kind which was not used for payment like Bitcoin, like payment network. Bitcoin was only used for payment kind of system, right? And store and build computer programs directly to the blockchain, which allows for financial transactions like bonds and loans to be stored on the network. In this way, Ethereum introduced whole new capability to blockchain technology, where you are not just sending payments like Bitcoin, but also You can code, write, and implement your own smart contracts, put it on the blockchain, and it could be executed on its own with some trigger. We will deep dive on the smart contracts later lectures. For now, if someone wants to sell their, for example, if someone wants to sell their house, they can put it on the blockchain. Another person that wants to buy the house can see this as it's a public network. Now, what happens is that the smart contract and the blockchain, smart contracts on the blockchain, the house smart contract, I mean to say, matches the order automatically. Smart contract receives the money from the buyer and distributes the house from the seller to the buyer. So the smart contracts does its job without any intermediates. The house itself can be digitized and represented as token on the blockchain, including the ownership of the house. You can pretty much do anything that you could do in a traditional world, but with some benefits being that is very efficient instead of weeks or months to settle and clear everything. But with the blockchain, this can be done in seconds. There is no central party controlling the ownership of the house. Another innovation is consensus layer itself. Basically, different blockchain has different consensus mechanism, but most common ones are proof of work and proof of stake. Bitcoin implements proof of work, whereas Ethereum implements proof of stake. Previously, it was proof of work where you can mine Ethereum, but now it is shifting towards proof of stake. The difference between them is like proof of work, miners compete themselves to solve a mathematical puzzle using computers processing power. Whereas in proof of stake there is no competition or there is no minus, but rather than block creator is chosen by amount of stake that they have on the network. So in this example, if you have if someone has 100 ethereums and someone has 50 ethereums, his power, the power of a person locking with 100 ethereum has much more priority than 50 storing account or Ethereum. Another innovation is blockchain scaling. Idea here is to increase the transactions per second or TPS without sacrificing the security of the network. In this process, as an example, Bitcoin takes 10 minutes to produce a block, whereas Ethereum takes only 15 seconds. Each of this blockchain has their own capacity. So in order to increase this throughput of transactions per minute (TPM) of the overall network, they can implement layer 2 solutions like side chains or sharding or optimistic rollups. And example will be Polygon. So yeah, that's basically it, and hope you enjoyed it.